Hi, my name is Kinley Snap, and I am doing the final for Children's Literature, English 204. For this final, I chose to do a lesson plan on the Devil's Arithmetic. And for this lesson plan, I did a 6th grade lesson plan, and I decided to do an interactive notebook with activities from each chapter, as well as a glossary, chapter reviews, and a final test. So here is the title page, and then here's the glossary. For the glossary, I have it split up into sections. So this one is chapter 13, or chapter 1 through 3, and it just has the 6 vocab words, as well as the sentence in which they are found in the book. Here's chapters 4 through 6, in the beginning of 7 through 9. And then the green here is 10 through 12. The orange is 13 through 15. And the purple is 16 through the end. And then here is the first activity. This is for chapters 1 and 2. All they will do for this activity is find the important characters and write them down and who they are in relation to Hannah. Here is chapter 2 continued. So at the beginning here, there's a literary device, which is flashback. So just a little reminder of what a flashback is. And then they have these 2 questions that relate flashback back to chapter 2 of the Devil's Arithmetic. And then here is chapter 3. So the literary device on this one is symbolism. A little reminder of what symbolism is. And then they find 2 examples of symbolism in chapter 3. And then here is the first chapter review. It is on chapters 1 through 3. The first section here is a vocabulary review. So they will just, all 6 words from this section are on here, and they just match to the definition. And there are 2 multiple choice questions, a short answer question, and a long answer question. Now we have chapter 4. This literary device is characterization. So we have direct and indirect. So for this activity, they will pick a character. Say if they're indirect or direct, they will pick a word to describe that character and then write the sentence or the phrase in which they got that word. So we just did that for 3 of those. And then chapter 5, the literary device is figurative language. Again, there is just a reminder of what figurative language is. And then they have to do a simile, a metaphor, personification, hyperbole, and idiom. And they pull those from the chapter. Chapter 6 is students will have these 4 characters. These are Hannah's friends. And just how the book describes them, that's just what they're writing down on each of those. Just another little way to keep some characters separate and so they know who's who. So then we have chapter 6 continued. So we have a Venn diagram of Hannah's new life and her old life. And then we have another chapter review. Again, It has vocab where they match, 2 multiple choice, a short answer, and a long answer. Okay, so then chapter 7. This is a poem in chapter 7. For this one, they will just expand on what each line is saying. In chapter 8, there's a new literary device. It is tone. So then there's, again, just a little reminder of what tone is. And then this question, they will answer, how can foreshadowing contribute to the tone? So they'll answer it, and then they will find 2 short passages of foreshadowing in chapter 8. Okay, in chapter 9, the literary device is illusion. So there's just a reminder of what illusion is, and they are to find 4 illusions in chapter 9. Then here is another chapter review with the vocabulary, the 2 multiple choice, the short answer, and the long answer. And then chapter 10 is more of a how do you feel as you read type of question. So they need to write a short little, a few sentences or a paragraph on how they felt and what they thought as they read what happened to all of the characters on the train. Chapter 8 is similar. This question is more of a broad question. Is it better to know what's going to happen to her at the camp, or is it better for her not to know? And just have students expand on that as well. Chapters 11 and 12, the literary device is irony. So the 3 different types are listed, and it gives a reminder. And then for this little foldable, they will find 4 different types of 4 passages in chapters 11 and 12 where irony is used. And then on the inside, they will flip it over. They'll tell which one it is and why it is that one. So for each of these, okay, and then there's another chapter review for 10 through 12. The vocabulary, multiple choice, short answer, long answer. For chapter 13, this is just a little reflection on how they felt when they read about Zipporah's death. Chapter 14 is where they're going to pick a quote from chapter 14 and then explain how the quote relates / is relevant to Shayna and the others affected in the Holocaust. So they just pick a quote, which doesn't have to be this one, but they'll just pick a quote and write it and then explain. So then chapter 14 continued. This up here just says that in chapter 14 there are some words that you may not know. Find 4 of those words and define them. Make sure to add the sentence in which you found it. So I just wrote 4 words that they probably won't know. There are others and they can pick others. There are the definitions right there. And then chapter 15 is imagery. So just another reminder of what imagery is. And then they just need to find a passage in chapter 15 that contains imagery and write it down. It can be a long passage, it can be a shorter passage, just as long as there's imagery in the passage. Then chapter 15 continued. We have euphemisms, and just a reminder of what those are. And then it's find 4 euphemisms in chapter 15 and tell what it is for. So just got the 4 and what they're for. And then we have another chapter review for 13 through 15, vocab, multiple choice, short answer, long answer. And then for the last section, chapter 16, how do you feel when you read about Reuben's death? Just a short, quick little thing. And then we have another literary device for chapter 17, suspense. Just a reminder of what that is. And then they are to find a passage that displays suspense and write that down. And then for chapters 18 and 19, they will answer the 2 questions. Right here is the first one, and then here is the second one. And then they will do this little flip book on, and they'll just answer these questions on the inside. And then lastly, another chapter review on 16 through 19, where they again do vocabulary, multiple choice, short answer, long answer. And then at the end, they will complete, once all of their interactive notebook is complete, they will do a test. So they will have, this is a 3-part test, 9 multiple choice, and then 3 short answer and 2 long answer. And just on what the days will kind of look like, this is a 15, around a 15-day lesson plan. So what will happen is when we walk in on the first day, we will discuss things that students know about the Holocaust and maybe what they want to know and what they want to learn throughout the reading of this novel. And then we will go into a little video about the Holocaust. It is by Crash Course. It's pretty long, but it's a really good video, and I really enjoy it, and I think they will too. And then every day after that, they will have homework the night before. They will read the assigned chapters, and then they will come to class. We'll talk about what they read, and then they will complete the pages for those chapters in their interactive notebook. They will have 2 to 3 days for each section for when the chapter review should be completed. And then once we go through each of those steps, at the end, we will come back together and talk about what they did in their interactive notebook, talk about the chapter reviews, and just kind of discuss everything and let them go back to the chapter reviews and talk about or fix maybe some of the answers they missed and ask questions. And then once we have finished the entire interactive notebook, they will complete the test. The test will be graded and they'll get it back. And then after the test, we'll talk about it, and we will discuss any further questions they have, maybe specifically on the Holocaust, or maybe even one of the literary devices throughout the interactive notebook. For diverse student needs, they will be able to work in groups with other students during the interactive workbook part. They'll have the same chapter reviews, but they will be able to ask questions throughout taking those where other students will not. And they will also have assistance on tests on the final test with reading it, or just helping them use their own brain, but giving them that guidance to answer them. I think that's it.